Welcome to the live service podcast. It is the weekend of the 4th of July. It's July 1st, but we record this. Well, we record on a Saturday. I won't post it till Monday morning. But hey, Brian, how are you? Please tell me you're better than I am, because I'm gonna rip my fucking hair out.
I am in pain, but I'm good.
In pain? What the fuck did you do?
Pulled a muscle in my back because I'm an idiot.
Oh, yeah, those happen.
Yeah. When you get older, your body just starts, falling apart. And you're like,
yeah, really. I was literally about to be. When you get older, you just kind of like, I hurt and I don't know why, and that's just kind of that's just your daily. That's just how it is.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I was actually doing like hard physical labor, so it makes sense. But it makes sense why it happened. It's not like out of nowhere, but it still sucks.
Yep. Man, did you do anything? 4th of July is coming up, which I simultaneously hate and I like. But are you doing anything for the 4th of July? Do you have anything planned?
I don't have like a big plan. I know family always like gets together and does like a cookout and stuff like that. So I'll probably be headed over there at a point, but I don't have a big thing planned now. As I've gotten older, I've cared less and less about holidays. They more and more just keep falling off. And I'm like, it's just another day.
Yeah, I'm very much kind of in the same boat. I don't really care that much about holidays anymore. Christmas is whatever. I'm non-religious. It's another day in passing. I do like to find excuses to make good meals. And there's a story before this story, but my grandmother accidentally ordered a 14-pound brisket, which was supposed to be like $60. But she would have gotten it on sale for like $30. But they charged her for a 1.4 pound brisket instead of a 14-pound brisket, so it was $3. So she got a 14-pound biscuit for $3, and it was literally like a small fucking child, that, I had to end up, butchering and cutting off all of it myself and turning it into a brisket and slow cooking it and all that stuff. And it was quite the experience. I started it Friday night and finished it this morning about 4 p.m. So it was like a 14 to 16 hour, hindsight 2020, I would rather start it early in the morning and then it finishes at night, and then you could put it back in the oven at like 175, 160, to just let it sit there until everybody's ready to eat it. It turned out great. It's delicious. Although my grandmother's a fucking moron. It's the lead poisoning, man, getting to boomers. It really is the fucking lead poisoning. They're all fucking retarded. What do you think makes meat taste good, Brian? What is, like, there are two components to meat, okay? It's not, I'm not trying to be like a trick question, but what do you think makes meat taste good? In general, what most people would say.
What most people would say, or what actually is true? That's two different things.
Well, I mean, what actually is true, which is what most people would say. What if you have a steak or a big piece of beef, what makes it taste good? Where's all the flavor at?
In the juice?
No, in the fat.
I mean, well, yeah, that's... Yeah,
it's in the fat, right? Yeah. Not a trick question, right? You have the fat because the fat caramelizes and it gives flavor and everything like that. She's going fucking senile, or she's getting stupider by the moment. I'm really not sure which yet. Might be both. But the brisket has a big thing of fat on one side, and then it has intramuscular fat throughout, and then it has like big things of fat. That's why you cook it slow for over like 12 hours. It caramelizes and breaks down all that fat and collagen, everything like that. My grandmother cut the fat off of everything. After I cooked it and took it out and sliced it up, she went through and took all the brisket pieces and essentially cut them in half, removing all the meat from the fat.
Okay. Did she?
And
I mean, what did she do with it?
oh, she threw it away.
Oh, look, see, that's your problem. Take it out. That's fine. Whatever. It's already cooked. You're good. The flavor should be distributed, but there are people that like that.
Generally, you kind of have a little bit of fat with a lot of meat to help give it flavor and things like that. She cut it all off, so all the meat dried the fuck out. And it has no flavor. And then she threw it all in the trash. And so she just like ruined the whole fucking brisket. She's like, well, I don't like it. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck what you like. It's not what you're supposed to do.
I mean, yeah, the main problem there is letting it dry out. That's wow.
She's going senile. I swear to God, I may document the chronology of my grandmother going senile over like the next 6 months or something. Who knows? We can have a grandmother senile update because she does something increasingly stupid. Like every it's the lead poisoning that got to the boomers, man. I swear to God.
It could actually be. That's the dark but funny part about it. So,
because as they get older, it becomes more prominent on their mental faculties. Anyway, that just angered me to no end because it was like I spent 15 hours cooking this and you just fucking ruined it. All right.
Yeah, that kind of. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man.
It's just
that sucks.
Did you yeah. Did you do anything? No, well, you said no already. I guess you just kind of sit at home, no steak, no cookout or anything like that, no good food. Just sit home and play video games.
Yeah, not today so far, yeah.
Yeah, that's fun. That's nice. That's good.
I mean, the holiday is until Tuesday, man.
Oh, yeah, true, but why would you... I figured if you're going to do anything, you do it on the weekend. Why would you do it on a Tuesday? It's a fucking Tuesday. Oh, Tuesday. God.
There'll be people doing stuff from now until then.
Yeah, I know.
Guaranteed.
Those
Plus,
people need help.
I work for myself. I make my own schedule.
That's true, but I still think those people need help. It's because, it's the week. It's a Sat. You take the opportunity. There's people that live down the road from me. They buy $200 to $300 worth of fireworks every day. I don't know how they afford it. They live in a fucking meth den. Maybe they sell meth and then use their meth money to buy fireworks because they think they're pretty while they're high on meth. They buy $200 to $300 worth of fireworks every day and they set them all off every night for like 3 weeks before and after the 4th of July. And now, the before, like, okay, maybe a week before. 3-4 weeks before? Like, it's May and they're setting off fireworks. And I'm like, who's even selling fireworks now? Fucking stop. But then, like, it's August and they're still setting off fireworks. And I'm like, it's done. The holidays passed. Can you fuck off, please?
Wait, where do you live again?
Kentucky.
Do they like sell fireworks year round there?
No.
I know there's some states where they do, and you can get them like that, right? Like here where I live, it's just like they're permitted to come in certain times a year and sell. Other than that, you can't buy them.
Yeah.
I don't know where like you're located if there's like a border nearby, because I think North Carolina sells them year round. So I don't know. But yeah, people are like that. They just Yeah,
it's. I feel like I'm becoming an old crotchety man, where I'm just like, stop setting fuck off, stop setting off them damn fireworks. I don't know.
What the hell's going on with Twitter guns? Have you looked at it today?
I know. I know what's going on, but I don't want to know what's going on. I try to stay away from Twitter, dude. It's fucking horrible. He's Elon. It's the lead poisoning, Dan. Elon Musk is retarded.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. It's like, are you doing this on purpose because like you don't like it and you want it to, you just want to waste it all that money and have it fail, or like I don't get it. Like they're like the website is telling you to stop visiting it.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. He's purposely limiting. Like, okay, so for those of you that don't know, let me find this tweet of his. I have to be careful because if I look at too many more, I won't be able to view any at all on the platform. That'll be it. Okay. This is what they're doing to prevent data overusage, which is fucking insane to me because data doesn't cost that much. Like this is about well, we'll talk about what it's about in a second. To address extreme levels of data scraping and system manipulation, we've applied the following temporary limits. Verified accounts are limited to reading 6,000 posts a day. Now, if that generalized was made for everybody, I think that'd be okay. 6,000 posts a day, no one's gonna. Unverified accounts, 600 posts a day. Okay. New unverified accounts, 300 posts a day. So you cannot see more than 300 unique posts a day if you are a new unverified user, or if you're unverified, which I refuse to give Elon money because he's a fucking idiot. 600 posts a day.
Yeah, and the weird thing is when you watch like YouTube or you go like to Facebook or whatever, which I'm not on Facebook, but like ads are separate than things on there, right? You watch an ad on YouTube, then you watch a video. There are two separate things. On Twitter, they're the same thing. An ad is a post. So you're basically saying that you get to view less ads as well. Like, how is he?
Yes.
Isn't his whole thing about making money off of it? I don't understand. Yeah,
you're
basically making people view less ads. Making yourself get
I
less
don't
money.
understand. Elon made PayPal and he sold it for a shit ton of money, and he used that money to buy Tesla, which was already a fully functioning company that had the Model, the S and the X well underway. Like, those were coming out well before Elon ever got involved. He went and he bought SpaceX and he bought a bunch of experts from NASA. Elon knows fuck all about rockets, and half the shit he says is wrong. He has some very intelligent experts that spent years working at NASA, though, and now have the funding of a private company to do what they want. Elon's not smart. He's fucking stupid. He just happens to have $1 billion and is a man baby, and just like Trump, people do, like, man, I really hate Elon Musk because people look up out of him. It's not that I hate the person that he is. We're getting into a little bit of a personal dilemma here for me, but it's not that I hate the person that Elon Musk is. It's that I hate that that's what people think an intelligent person is. That's what people look up to. That's what people are like, I wish to aspire to that.
That's
no,
people,
you fucking don't.
It's because people treat intelligence like it's a video game stat. Your score goes up and you're just smart at everything, and that's not true.
Oh yeah,
he's smart at a few things, and then he's smart at a few things, which helped him create PayPal and helped him be smart enough to hire brilliant people for his companies. But that doesn't mean he's smart at everything. Most people are pretty dumb. Like like doctors are smart until you like put them in front of a computer sometimes or some other stuff, and they're just fucking morons.
Doctors are really good at memorization because 60% of their job is memorizing Well, and depending what specialty field they're in, but it's memorizing the body and what can go wrong with it in certain parts and how it functions and the intricacies of it. Because you don't want a doctor that's like, I think your appendix is over here, right? They have a pretty good idea of the general area of where your appendix is going to be if they're going to do an appendectomy, yeah? And they know all the complications and things that go wrong, and they have those in the back of their head. The other part of it is the skill and the steadiness, the calmness under tough situations, and the deliberation. So they're geniuses in that respect, right? And this is totally building on what you were saying. They're geniuses in that particular set of skills. Hopefully. God, you hope. Same thing for like sports players or basketball players or baseball or hockey. They're really good at playing hockey or basketball or tennis or what the fuck ever. But they're probably shit race car drivers, or they're probably terrible at flying a fucking plane, or writing an essay, or right? Like, people's Coach John Calipari, who he's an okay guy, I guess. I don't really care, but he has a really good statement. Everybody has their own unique genius, and you just have to find what your genius is in life. And so, yeah, Musk's genius was that he made a program, PayPal, for financial, online financial bullshit and sold it for a bunch of money. He's retarded at everything else he touches, though. Like, Twitter's gone down in value since he got it. Tesla build quality, like, most things he touches just kind of turn to crap. Sorry, rant. He drives me up a fucking wall. Up a fucking wall. And it's not even him. It's what people... It's people that think he's a genius that drive me up a fucking wall. I could give a shit less about Elon. It's everyone else that's, like, praising the fucking ground he walks on. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I don't get the hero worship and aspects like that. That's why I've always, disliked any kind of, like, celebrity or YouTube or whatever endorsement when it comes to, like, politics and shit, too. Like, you don't know nothing about that. Shut up. I'm not listening to you. Just go away.
Well, it's kind of like the same thing with, like, Joe Biden, like, people try to poke fun of him being like, yeah, he can never put together a sentence because he goes like he's had a speech impediment since he was, like, 7 years old. And he grew up in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. You really think they had, like, speech training, speech therapy that was well formed for him then? The answer is no. So he probably has only, like, gotten rid of the majority of his speech impediment in the last, like, 20 years. But people love to point to that and be like, see, he's stupid and old and senile and retarded. And it's like, no, he just has a speech. I guess people with stutters are fucking retarded now. That's where we're at. That's nice.
I mean, let's be honest, that's where we always were. But, I mean...
I hate the world. You know what else I hate? PlayStation fanboys.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call someone by name there, but that dude's off his fucking rocker right now.
Wait, who?
The guy Grums, or however you say his name or whatever.
Oh, that...
the former WoW dev that's just like, I don't know, he looks like he's on like a drug-fueled rant. Like,
fucking rant call him like you see him.
What? Like, what, dude?
Yeah, so, and he keeps showing up on my follow list. This guy's an idiot. I'm not gonna point out what his Twitter is or any of that shit, but he's a CEO of some company. I don't fucking know what company. He's a former team lead of World of Warcraft. He was a producer on Diablo 2, StarCraft. And then he's like, Chrono Trigger is the best game. And I'm like, Chrono Trigger's an old JRPG game with, like, rose-tinted spectacles for people that don't really play modern video games these days. But anyway, the dude's saying shit on Twitter that's just like, you're fucking stupid. Just stupid, dude.
And it's real basic stuff, like real basic, like off your rocker conspiracy theory stuff. Like, everybody on this side of this argument are nothing but bots and paid chills, and everybody else on my side of the argument, we're the only real people.
Yeah, okay, I'll read this one. Nothing is real. A lot of these Xbox fans are paid firms or bots. Rabid fans run or Microsoft's run store or something. This is standard practice of corpo warfare. Gonna get far worse with AI. Okay, so this is kind of gonna lead into this discussion that has been, there was some of it last week. I kind of want to keep it a little brief just because it's oversaturating the news like fucking crazy. But this is the whole like FTC versus Microsoft thing. And I think both Brian and I sit on this same side of the fence. I don't have a preference of Microsoft or Sony. I don't fucking care about either one of those companies. I like seeing pressure applied to both of them because it means that they have to perform well in the market if they're threatened, okay? I think that's a good thing for those companies to have their market position threatened, period. And right now, Sony has like 40 to 45% market share of the consoles. Nintendo has like the other 30%, and then like Microsoft has like 18%, okay? Clearly Sony is not threatened, and they're stagnating, which is why they are capable of doing all these really anti-consumer things lately. And I hate that because Sony is very capable of producing wonderful fucking video games. In fact, they still are. Opinions aside, like, Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Ratchet and Clank, Ghost of Tsushima, blah, blah, blah. Their games are great. God of War, whatever. But when they get comfortable, they don't have to produce those things, and they don't have to have products that lead the industry, like their PlayStation Plus. Their PlayStation Plus in comparison to Game Pass is dog shit. First off, it's not on PC because they're too lazy to have any kind of PC mainstay development. Xbox is putting all their stuff on PC to reach bigger audiences, and as somebody that primarily uses PC, that's a great thing. Secondly, Xbox makes the Game Pass worthwhile. Sony might put their titles from 4 years ago, if you're lucky, on PlayStation Plus. They're never going to put any recent or new games. They want you to go spend that $60 or $70 now it is. With the Game Pass, I can pay $15 a month, and I get every new game that comes out that Xbox publishes. I'm going to buy 3 of them this year, or I would buy 3 of them this year if they didn't come out on Game Pass, and at $70, that's $210. Game Pass already saves me $30 fucking dollars. So, like, in terms of value added, yeah, Game Pass is huge. If Sony was doing the same thing, you bet your goddamn ass I'd buy the PlayStation Plus pass, but they're not. PlayStation's fucking over the consumer left, right, and center.
Also, for me, I agree with all of that, but there's if you have followed the gaming industry for any more than just the past, 2 generations, you said the word earlier, stagnate. That's what Sony's doing. They're stagnant.
Yes.
I love the Uncharted games to death, but since the success of Uncharted, it has turned Sony into an almost, I say almost, because there are a few different things, one-trick pony. Look at all of their big games. They're all the same type of game. This one might be, add an open world. This one might be adding a horror element, but they're the same thing. Horizon, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. Of these are like this. They're all like this cinematic single player story, and that's great. But you look at like PS2, PS1, and early PS3 days, the type of stuff PlayStation was putting out, you could get innovation from, something new from. Not anymore. It is the same, it's almost like, what do they call it? Like my brain's farting right now. They're all following the same template. It's like the PlayStation template. Yeah. This is what a game is. And there's just a few outside of that now.
You actually make a really good point in this. Like, all PlayStation first-party or first-party games, bought first-party games, are just like single-player cinematic adventure games. The most interesting one, which I could complain about, but I still want to see everything that Kojima does, because like the guy does push weirdness and innovation, and even if I don't always agree or like what he does, that's a great thing to have. Death Stranding was the most interesting and innovative game Sony's published in God knows how fucking long. Because it bothered to do something new and different. It wasn't multiplayer, but it had a world that was affected by other players, allowing them to build roads and networks, which is like cool. You know,
Yeah, I actually, like, you know, saw a Reddit post that made me think this, and you know what I mean. It was like, oh, I've actually thought this for a while. I just didn't put it to words, but it enabled me to put it to words. So the guy asked on Reddit, he's like, "What's a game that you love but you hate what it has done to the industry?" And I'm like, yeah, that would be games like Uncharted, because
yes.
every Sony game is now just an Uncharted type game, and games like Assassin's Creed, because every Ubisoft game is an open world Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
and they stopped innovating, and I'm just like, I love those games, and even recent ones can be great, and I love them, but I still hate what it's like done to the industry, because it's templates. There's a lot less innovation, and that's why I'm playing a lot more indies these days than I used to. And people say, well, that's where you go for stuff. No, that didn't used to be. Used to be you could go to big companies and get that stuff, because they would take a risk. They would, you know, make something weird.
That's kind of why I'm like, look, Sony can't afford to buy Activision, and I wouldn't want them to if they could, because I feel like they would stagnate it. Like, here's the thing. If Sony bought Activision, there wouldn't be an injunction by the FTC that Sony's getting too big in the gaming space, which they totally fucking are, okay? Like, they have the huge market control. They would buy Activision, they would make Call of Duty a PlayStation exclusive, and people would be praising Sony for fucking saving Call of Duty and blah, blah, blah. Left, right, and fucking center. And it's like, bro, they are now monopolistically dominating the console market, and they 1,000% would make Call of Duty console exclusive. They definitely would, especially
Jim Ryan was asked that during the actual Microsoft cross-examination with him.
What was his answer?
He refused the answer. Like, he kept changing the subject and just
refused the answer.
Because he knew what it would say.
Yeah.
Because he's, I mean, you know, I don't agree with what he's doing, but he's smart. He's not dumb enough to make that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, granted, you know, if regulators are dumb enough to let Sony have a monopoly, of course the company is going to try to have a monopoly, and they're trying really fucking hard. They're pretty close to it in terms of console market.
I don't want to throw around the word monopoly, because a lot of people misunderstand that, and we're not even close to that. Sony's doing some very anti-consumer shit, and I will bag on them that, but we're nowhere near close to a monopoly in the gaming industry. Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft could merge, and it still wouldn't be a monopoly. People way overuse that word, and they misunderstand what it actually is. But I 100% agree with you, and I am actually very happy that it actually went before the judge that it did, because the judge is a very sensible person and has constantly kept things on track. Like, one of the biggest moments that came out of the stuff this week was when the FTC was like making their big statement, and they're like, "We've heard about the harms to Sony," and she just cut them off. She's like, "This isn't about the harms to Sony. It's about the harms to consumer." Now let's go to break while you think about that.
And actually, like, to be honest with you, no, I think in this represent, I think Sony is pretty close to having a monopoly, because I googled it just to make sure that I was thinking of this, you know, correctly. The monopoly is the exclusive possession or control of a supply or a trade in a commodity or service. Now, where I can specifically make the argument for the monopoly is the console market, the at-home console market, not video games in general. If you're gonna be pointing at that, you're totally right. It's impossible for Sony to have a monopoly in just video games in general. They're gonna make it much worse for the consumer, because they're gonna force everything to be on PlayStation, and PC will be lucky to get the crumbs of what comes after. And I don't think Sony can be held, or not Sony, Nintendo can be held within the market of the console, the home console manufacturers, because the Switch is a mobile console. The Switch is a handheld, right? The Switch is like akin to your phone. You can take it anywhere and do anything. It doesn't have the same horsepower as like the console you sit down and you sit home with, right? So that's why I would like argue that, yeah, I think Sony's getting pretty close to having a monopoly on the at-home console market. And I think like if Sony did merge with Activision, they totally would, because they would be controlling a huge percentage of where the games go, and Xbox would have to just follow suit. So they would have control of the supply of video games at the at-home console market.
I don't 100% agree. I mean, I agree with the harms and the possibilities, but that's just arguing semantics, so I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, it's just, yeah, I don't know. This whole thing has just been a waste of all of our money. We all pay taxes, and that's what's funding this, and it was a big waste of money, and Lena Khan needs to be fired.
She
seriously, she's done, not just because of this, because of everything she's done since coming into office. It has just been like blunder after blunder, dumb decision after dumb decision, and I'm just like, you're literally just doing things to have the image of doing things, and oh, I'm against big. Just shut up and actually do what's good for the consumer and what's good for law, not just because you want to be viewed as this side of the political aisle or whatever. Just I'm sorry, I really dislike her.
Sorry, who are you talking about?
Lena Khan, head of the FTC.
What's her name? Spell it. I don't even know who that is.
Khan.
Oh, it's 2 words, dude. You were saying like Unicon or whatever. You gotta enunciate.
Oh, sorry, I talk spath. Lena Khan, and she's just.
It's not even Lena. It's not. I thought you said Luna. Lena. See, I know who that is. But you were saying like Lunacon, and I'm like, who the fuck is Lunacon? That sounds like a transformer, dude.
Did not say Luna. You just need to clean your ears out, Guns.
I'm gonna. So I do post-production editing, and so like I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna clip it and like replay you saying Lunacon, and then I'm gonna add like the Transformers things to the end of it, like 30 times in a row. Sure. Lunacon, Lunacon, Lunacon. Transformers. Anyway, yeah, I know who Lena Khan is. She's some British bitch. No, this entire court case makes me feel like Sony somehow has paid off the FTC. I have no idea how. Because Microsoft is an American-based company, and the FTC's and maybe it's just because of how badly he was presenting his argument in general, but like so much of it, the judge asked a really great question. She said, if Sony had accepted Microsoft's offer for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation, would there even fucking... Oh, she didn't say fucking. I'm inserting fucking. Would there even be a court case right now? And the answer to that's no. But Sony refused to accept the deal. It's Sony that is probably pushing all these buttons for the FTC to, look at this. It's Sony. There's so... And what makes it so, like, disheartening to watch is that the people that this is going to affect the most are the ones that are, like, sitting there cheering for Sony. Like, yeah, the good guys, Sony, PlayStation, woo. And it's just like, you just don't understand. You don't understand. They control the majority of the market. They do all of these things. And, like, there was some posturing in the court. Like, okay, for instance, one of my favorite bits of posturing was Satya Nadella. During his testimony, he said, Microsoft doesn't want to make exclusive games, but we have to follow suit of the market leader, which is Sony. In order to play their game and their rules, we have to make some of our content exclusive to create a better value opportunity for our customers in the exclusivity of Xbox. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of what he said. And he also said, if we didn't have to, we wouldn't make things exclusive. And
I think that's part posturing, but I
Yeah.
partway do believe him. I think short term, he that's one of the reasons. It's not the only reason, but I think
Sure.
long term, he actually would want to get rid of exclusives because he recognizes things like, you know, where the majority of Minecraft money comes from, and Minecraft sells more than Call of Duty. You know where it comes from? Nintendo.
Yeah.
They actually released public documents that show that the Nintendo makes more than, like, the Minecraft on Nintendo makes more than all of the other consoles, like a lot more. That's where they get their money. So no, they don't. If they can do that, they don't want exclusives. They want to put it out there.
It just makes sense if you're quick maths. Okay, if you're selling a game and you're only selling the game, let's say there's 40 million Xboxes, okay? You only sell this game on 40 million Xboxes, okay? That means you're only going to get like $280 million. Right? If you're selling this game on all consoles that are current gen, which is the Switch, the PlayStation 5, and the Xbox, you're selling to like 200 million consoles, or 100 million, 150, whatever, right? You're substantially doubling the amount of consoles that you're selling to. And that means instead of selling 40 million copies, you can sell 100 million copies at $70. That's where you're going to make your real fucking money in software. That's gangbangers worth of money. Even when they're taking their 30%, you're still getting the $40, you know? Like, that's where the huge bouts of revenue are.
Before someone tries to come at us and be like, well, you know, it's free on Xbox and PC, so, you know, because of Game Pass, so they don't get money that way. But well, first of all, actual physical, or not physical, but actual game sales account for less than 1% of what we're talking about. The rest of it comes from the purchases from the Minecraft store. So, sure, you didn't pay for it on Game Pass, so that made up 0.1%. Cool. That doesn't affect the fact that they still make 70% of their money on Nintendo.
It's also
0.1% doesn't change much, okay?
It's also not free on Game Pass. That's the stupidest argumentation and logic that there is.
Yeah, because
you
pay
$15 a month. The average consumer plays 1 to 2 games a year from Game Pass. Game Pass costs you $180. Probably more like if you buy it a year at a time, very few people do. 140. I don't even know if there's a discount, right? So $140, $180 a year, right? 2 games is $140. 2 AAA games is $140, right? Most people don't get their value out of Game Pass. I certainly do, because I play a shitload of games. But then, and you're saying, oh, the developer doesn't make any money. Yes, they do. Pretty much all games, except for first-party games, because that's Microsoft internal. Any third-party studio that goes on Game Pass, Microsoft pays them an upfront fee to put their game on Game Pass, because they say, okay, we're going to lose a certain percentage of sales, but you're going to get our game a lot of exposure, so what will you comp us for taking away from those sales? And Microsoft usually comps those studios to the tune of 50 to 60%. We believe. Could be more, could be less, we don't know. That's our assumption.
Plus multiple big studios have come out, big and small studios have come out and said that, you know, sales went up after going on Game Pass, not down, up.
Yes, because
it gets more people playing, and you're like, oh, I don't have Game Pass, but I can buy it and play it, or oh, in-game products I can buy and pay, you know.
So the Game Pass gets you the default product for free. For instance, in my spare time right now, I've been playing Power Washing Simulator. It's relaxing, it's nice and easy. You just sit there and you do nothing, okay? It's on Game Pass. I didn't pay for Power Washing Simulator. But I did pay for the DLCs that they have.
You going to Bikini Bottom?
Yes, to go to Bikini Bottom, and because it's one of the DLCs that they have, it was $7 to go wash SpongeBob's pineapple. That sounds like such a dirty euphemism right now. But I wouldn't have paid that $7-8. I'd be less inclined to pay that $7-8 if I'd bought the game outright. But as a result, so like the developer's making $8 off of me when they would have made nothing off me because I wasn't really too inclined to buy. I was not going to get Power Wash Simulator. That looks stupid. It's on Game Pass. Okay, it's free. I'll try it. I tried it. I liked it. I like it enough to pay the $8 for the DLC. I don't like it enough to pay the $20 to buy it, but I'll pay the $8 for the DLC. They wouldn't have gotten a single purchase out of me if it wasn't on Game Pass. But because it was on Game Pass, they got a purchase out of me they otherwise would have completely missed.
Yeah, it's
people don't understand market economics, Brian. It makes me want to put my head in a fucking hole.
I mean, yeah, it's not just regular people too. Apparently, it's the FTC because Phil Spencer had to educate them on acquisitions.
Oh yeah, how do acquisitions work? So you have $70 billion liquid to just give to, or what? 70? How much was it?
Some 68 or 69. Everybody just rounds up to 70.
Yeah. $70 billion to just give to Activision when you buy them. And it's like, no, they don't actually give Activision $70 billion. No one, that's never happened before. That's not, they are taking the money to own a percentage of the company. So they are, I just like...
And the FTC's guy made even dumber statement. I almost said joke because you'd think it was a joke, but he's just like, well, if you own Call of Duty, then you don't have, at the moment you pay this to get Call of Duty, but when you own it, you don't pay anything to get Call of Duty. And Phil Spencer's like, we pay development costs and salaries.
You pay development costs, salaries, marketing, the thing is you're paying the $70 billion, and that $70 billion essentially goes back into the company. That company usually gives bigger people buyouts that are in part of leadership in case they want to leave or Microsoft wants to push them out and put their own leadership in, which is obviously the case when a lot of companies take over other companies, right? It basically gives them the money internally inside the company to be able to move whatever pieces they want to help the company align more with whatever company bought the vision. It gives them that operating power, okay? So they invest all that money into the company. It's not like it goes out of one pocket and into another. It's more like it goes out of one pocket and into 50 pockets. And also into a vault at the same time that, it's very complicated in its actuality. It just gives them the ability... man. Brian, this has shed a light on just how fucking stupid so many people look into gaming and
just life in general, just how money works. And this is what the FTC came to bat with. They were like this is been a waste of money from the start. They did it just to look like they're doing something. We're not going to get a word because the judge is doing stuff and she gets something from them Monday, so she's not going to put out a statement on Tuesday. So the 5th or 6th, we're going to get her word, and
we hope it could be later than that, but
it could be. But she did say before the start of the thing that she didn't want to draw this out. She wanted to get it done. She's been talking about the whole time that we're not gonna so everybody because she said those things. Of course, she can make a different call now, but the way she's been signaling since the beginning seems like she's gonna make a call on this pretty soon.
And the worst part that happens is, let's say she does rule in the FTC's favor. Activision's stock price is going to plummet through the roof. They're probably going to sell off parts of Activision, including things like Blizzard, the Call of Duty IP in their studios, because Call of Duty is not the real moneymaker of Activision. It's King and King's mobile market. The value
And that's what
of
Microsoft is after.
Exactly. Yeah, people think this is about Call of Duty. It's about the mobile market. Like,
no, they straight up admitted it live in court. They said this is mainly about us getting
I know
a
they
bigger
admitted
piece
it,
of the mobile pie.
but
because
people
right
still
now,
think it's about Call of Duty. I know they said it like, with cameras on them and things recording their voices, Brian, but people still think it's about Call of Duty,
including the FTC for some reason.
Yeah.
It's wild. Microsoft, this is all play for the future for Microsoft to take down Apple and Android's duopoly, where like you literally can't put stores on their markets and stuff like that, which the EU has a case against right now and is going to, the shit's going to hit the fan, because right now that's way worse than any kind of monopoly that could appear in
Google
at the moment.
might shit the bed anyway. Did you hear about what was going on with the ads?
I did not. What's up?
Let me find the specific problem. I
missed something. Google Ads. Gotta look. Also, before we just move on, you know that it's, like news everywhere when, the judge's name is trending on Twitter.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna look for this in a moment.
Google violated its standards and ad deals. Is that what you're talking about?
That's it.
Thing from the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, recently. Yes, okay. Google could have breached its video standards, making advertisers eligible for billions of dollars in refunds. So specifically the problem with this that's going on is that Google violated their own standards and practices for their advertisements in their terms of services on websites. So what it specifically came down to
apparently
was
video ads, not like,
yes, it is video ads.
Yes.
So a company like American Express, in this example, played for a skippable, mutable, or skippable audio playing, with customer initiation. That's inside their terms of service. So their video will be interactable with the customer. They can skip it, they can mute it or turn the volume up or down, and it won't autoplay without the customer's initiation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
There have been tons of ads that are autoplaying without the customer's initiation, are muted, and are just like non-skippable on all these pages, usually on like wikis and stuff like that. They're just embedded to the side. And because they violated those practices and standards set forth in their own terms of service, advertisers could be compensated for refunds in the billions of dollars. And any company that spent like hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on Google Ads is absolutely going to be like, hey, we want our refund of $100 million. So yeah, we're going to have to see. There's not really anything to talk about with this, except we'll just have to keep an eye on it and see what happens. But Google AdSense could be like in some serious trouble, and like Google could be in some serious trouble here.
Yeah, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. I know they've, especially from the EU lately, they've been under a lot more pressure.
Yep.
But they've done shit like this in the past and just got away scot-free. So, but it looks like recently it's been, under more discretion or whatever you want to call it.
They kind of
So
need
maybe
to get
something will
away
happen this time.
scot-free with this one because the amount of money they would have to pay out is insane.
Oh no! Even if something does happen, they won't pay that much. They'll just
we'll see. Okay, let's talk about games because I feel like this is kind of like the calm before the storm, and this is the last little bit that we're gonna get to talk about all the things that are coming before they're all here, and then everything's just when we get to July 25th, it's just gonna be non-stop for like 3 months. It's gonna be insane. The reason why it's July 25th for me. It may be later for some people, maybe earlier if you're into like Pikmin 4, which I don't give a fuck about Pikmin. But I guess you could start with that. July 21st, Pikmin 4 comes out on the Switch. Okay. July 25th, Remnant 2 comes out. I'm incredibly excited for Remnant 2. I love the first one. Looking forward to that one. Seen all the things. Looks great. Okay. Then we were supposed to get a break, and then we were supposed to get Armored Core, Baldur's Gate 3, and Starfield all within 3 weeks of each other, which was going to be fucking chaos. But Baldur's Gate has been pushed up to August 3rd, which is great news. It means that I get to play Remnant 2 for like a week. And then I can go play Baldur's Gate for like a month. Until Starfield comes out. Because that's how long it was going to take me.
And they've been releasing stats. Apparently it's going to take you that long to beat it.
Yeah.
Stuff in that game.
Holy crap.
I was actually kind of worried when they released how much like cutscenes are in it.
Yes.
Because I was like, is this Final Fantasy again? Holy shit.
Are they live? Well, Co-Carnage had a really great statement about this earlier today. He said, in Final Fantasy, when you watch a cutscene, that's it. You're watching a cutscene. There's nothing you can do. You might as well be watching a movie for all you fucking care. In Baldur's Gate 3, when you're watching a cutscene, you get to pick what the character says. You get to make decisions. That's you. You're not watching a movie. It's interactive, right?
And I think that contributes to the length that they gave, the number they gave, because you're making different decisions.
Yes.
But that's not, each one of those decisions adds to the length. Like, you only picked one, but there were 5 choices. So the length is all 5, though for you it was only the one. So
the reality is the average player will probably only see 60 to 70 hours on a single playthrough of those, cinematics, which means the replayability of this game. And, oh, dude, the stats that they dropped, Brian, had me so fucking giddy. Oh my god, dude.
I mean, take it all with a grain of salt, because everybody's always drops stats like this, and it's always actually like they overshoot it. But even overshooting it, it's still pretty awesome.
I was primarily looking
Everybody's
at the
like,
stats.
It'll take 20 hours to beat our game, and then we do it in 12. Yeah.
I was primarily looking at the stats that they really couldn't fuck up or like lie about. Okay, here, let me find this real fast. Here it is. 170 hours of cinematics. Okay, give or take. You're probably only going to see about 60 or 70 of those. 2 million words of dialogue. Again, you're probably going to see about half of that. Thousands of characters. I mean, yeah, there's probably only going to be about like 50 or 60. They've got some voice actors in this motherfucker though. Oh my god, their cast is insane. We'll get to that in a second, okay? More cinematic dialogue than all 3 Lord of the Rings novels. Which even if you cut Baldur's Gate 3 down to 1 fucking Lord of the Rings book, which is probably all you're going to get to see in a single playthrough, that's a lot. That's a lot, Brian. That's a lot, dude.
It is a lot, yes.
600 spells and actions. This one is a little bit cheating. There's probably only like 400-ish spells and then probably like 200 actions, because they're also counting like, here's this bottle, the drink action, and it's like, okay, come on, guys. That's whatever. But they're also counting like you have this pyramid that you use in action and it teleports you to the ethereal plane. So like it's a spread, you know, there's a big spread there. Is this exclusive to PlayStation 5? By the way? Because
What,
the
Baldur's
60
Gate 3?
yes. Cuz they say 60 FPS on PS5. It's weird that we're rounding back around to this. Baldur's Gate 3 coming out on Xbox. Baldur's Gate 3 is coming out on Xbox.
Yes, but not at launch.
What do you mean?
Coming out on PC.
What do you mean?
I'm reading a thing that says it's got the Xbox version doesn't got a release date, but the PS5 and PC version does. How old is this? Give me a second.
That's so... Oh, Microsoft requires gameplay feature parity on the two console. Okay, this is a Microsoft thing. They have to let that go. PC version is releasing August 3rd. The PS5 version is releasing September 6th. Baldur's Gate 3 has been in early access for some time. Blah, 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 blah.
Okay, I get what it is. It's this split screen co-op that's causing the issue. And yeah, there was a recent news article that they brought in people from Microsoft, from Xbox, to help them with it because they were having troubles getting it to work properly on the S.
To be fair, this is Xbox
the aspect ratio, I guess. I don't know.
So this is Xbox being a little silly because when you publish a game on the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, the Series X is weaker than the Series S, but they require feature parity
Other way
on
around.
the two consoles. Or yeah, other way around. The S is weaker than the X, but they require feature parity between the two consoles, which is dumb. Because it's a less powerful whatever. That's Microsoft being dumb. See, guys, Microsoft can be dumb too. Fucking, you're just PlayStation, or you're Xbox fanboys. You just want the Xbox. Fuck.
Yeah, it mostly has to do with resolution and FPS, and that's why it's a split screen problem. It's called. Yeah.
But anyway,
that's the biggest difference in the S and X.
The bit that I am also, excited about, 12 classes, 46 subclasses, which is almost 4 classes per subclass. That probably means there's going to be a couple that only have 3, and then the rest still have 4. And then romance almost all camp companions, which is also, great in a day and age where they make their companions flexible, and so you can just snoo who you want to snoo.
Hold on. Did you just say 12 classes?
12 classes, 46 subclasses.
Are they making Artificer? Because everything we've heard about before is Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, Fighter, Paladin, Ranger, Rogue, Sorcerer.
Well, actually, I don't want to say yes. Hang on.
And that's 11. That's
Baldur's
the base
Gate 3 classes. Let's go. See, Cleric, Fighter, Ranger, Rogue, Warlock, Wizard, Druid, Sorcerer, Barbarian, Bard, Paladin, Monk.
Monk, I see. All right, Monk is what they added. All right.
This is going to be so difficult for me because I really like I like monks. Monks are fun, for me. But I also really like warlocks in a particular kind. But I also really like wizards. I like making Bladesong wizards because those are fun.
I like making everything.
I like making it. I like paladins too. I like paladins because you can hit something and you'd be like, I rolled a natural 20. Prepare to take 10,000 damage.
I'm gonna smite. Yeah.
I'm gonna smite twice because I can. Yeah, paladins are The paladins are just satisfying because you hit something once and can obliterate it. At like level 5, you can do that, you know? Technically level 3?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword because it's like it's really satisfying when it happens, but it means everybody saves their spell slots for that, and you don't get a lot of utility. And
that's also
and
kind of
out
like
paladins, which is like, that sucks.
It's also kind of all you can really do. But it's such a cool one-trick pony. I mean, yes, there are other things paladins can do that are cool, but none of it's as cool as being able to hit something and turn it into holy dust.
I mean, as far as like wow factor, yes. As far as like actual power balancing, paladins' auras are what make them broken, and they just make them they're literally class multipliers.
Yeah,
their auras are ridiculous.
Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3, we're excited about that. I think we can wrap up the show talking about that because I think the game does look fucking fantastic, and I'm super excited. That might be my game of the year.
I have to mention something before we end, and I know you don't play at Guns, but I do play it, and
it's a Guild Wars thing.
Guild Wars 2 new expansion was announced, and it's fucking insane what they're doing.
I've seen bits and pieces of this.
I hope it works. What they're gonna do. I really hope it works. I think it's gonna take a lot of balancing. I think it's gonna come out pretty broken at first.
Is it coming this year?
August. It's literally like 2 months away.
We'll get to that. Okay, so Baldur's Gate 3 is gonna be great. If you want to play Stray, it's coming out for the Xbox. Then we go on. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is actually like a really fun Dead by Daylight type with a lot more gore. So I think that'll be fun for like a day or two, shits and giggles, you know. Then another big heavy hitter, Armored Core Fires of Rubicon, August 25th. Everyone's saying it looks too much like Dark Souls. Spoilers, guys. Dark Souls looks too much like Armored Core, but in fantasy. You're just late to the party. Then we get to Starfield, September 6th. Nobody's gonna play. Looking at this, nobody's gonna play Baldur's Gate on PlayStation. Everyone's gonna be playing it on PC. So, okay, this game comes out. No one's really excited for this, and no one's gonna play it either, because it's a week after Starfield. Everyone's still gonna be playing Starfield. The Crew Motorfest, that's Ubisoft's The Crew game, if you remember it. It's basically it
has a community. There'll be people to play it, but it's not gonna be big. It's not gonna be big.
This is we have Forza Horizon at home.
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
That's what that is. Anyway, we don't have to shit on that all day. We could, though. That'd be fun. Lies of P, which I think looks fucking... It's a Pinocchio Souls-like. Looks fucking stellar to me.
Looks awesome. Looks like it's going to be fun. And I'm just like... Am I going to have time? Because it's still too close to
I know, right? I'm going to play this, but... Well, and that's one of those things, like, I think I can push Lies of P down the road and pick it up and play it later. Mortal Kombat, I love Mortal Kombat, but I think I might just skip this one, dude, because there's so much, because we go Lies of P, Mortal Kombat, Party Animals, which is a party game that looks hella fun for, like, Friday nights and shit like that, and if you're not 100% aware of what that is, it looks kind of like Human Fall Flat or what's the one?
Gang
Beast. Yes, but like with much more polish behind it. Okay. And then Payday 3 on September 21st, and boy, I got to see some of the Payday 3 stuff in their gameplay. Brian, oh my fucking god, I'm way more excited for that game than I thought I was. These details are, the same thing happened for Remnant. Details are coming out about Remnant, and I looked at those, like, they have a class system now, an actual class system with class abilities, and their their procedural generation for levels is way more advanced than it was in the first game. So things are going to be way more interesting in Remnant 2. It's people that have gotten hands-on with it said this feels like my first AAA third-person roguelite shooter. And I was like, what? That just...
You skipped one, by the way.
Which
I
one?
understand why you skipped it, because it won't be out for you until October of next year. But in October of this year, there is Spider-Man 2 if you own a PlayStation.
Oh, fuck Spider-Man. I think it's overrated. It's so overrated, dude. It's that same PlayStation formula, dude. It's an adventure game, and also I don't think it's that good of a. I've played Spider-Man. I've not played Spider-Man, but like I've heard all the Spider-Man stories. It's not an original story. I don't give a fuck. They're not doing anything I haven't seen. Then I'm actually super interested in this, and I might go grab a Switch. Detective Pikachu Returns. And dude, the commercials are fucking hilarious for this. This might be playing worth just the entertainment value on its own, because it's Detective Pikachu and he's sitting there drinking a drinking a cup of coffee, and he's like, "The murder victim was found last night in the street. We can't let this go, Chief." And it's like, what? That's Pikachu's voice. He's so deep-throated. What the fuck, dude? It looks wild, so that's primarily why I want to go play it. Assassin's Creed Mirage, I thought they were just remaking Assassin's Creed. Lords of the Fallen looks great if you like the first one, which was Lord of the Fallen. Now it's Lords of the Fallen. It was the Lords of the Fallen, but they got rid of the, and now it's just Lords of the Fallen. It's confusing. It's the second one. Okay. Alan Wake 2, I am, again...
100% down.
Oh god, yeah, right? I think you and I both are, because we really enjoyed Control.
I really enjoyed the first Alan Wake too. I've been a fan since Jump Street, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Then we have Cities Skyline 2, which again, I didn't think we'd see that game this year, but the fact that that's coming out, it looks crazy to me. And then Alone in the Dark, which I think could be really good, could be really bad. That's like, and then yeah, there's Spider-Man in there, blah blah blah. So all of that,
you forgot the biggest release in November,
yeah,
the day before. The game that totally exists, guys. 100% totally for real exists.
Dude, that the day before is gonna be like my Christmas present, or it's gonna be my birthday is November 21st. The day before is gonna be like my birthday present, because that's gonna be a colossal shit show, and I am just excited to watch, dude. I'm so excited to see what happens with that. So, but like, yeah, we've got so much stuff, and I wasn't really counting on it, but I also got to see some of the stuff from Forza Motorsport. I play iRacing, which is a simulation racing, and you people tend to go to iRacing because it's very heavy sim. It's probably one of the best sims for racing out there. Forza Motorsport's talking like their technology is going to be really close to replicating iRacing. I don't think so, but we'll see. And if it does, oh my god.
Oh, I just saw you skip something that is huge for you, Guns.
Oh,
September. Cyberpunk. September.
Oh, yeah. See, I can't even keep up, Brian.
I'm like, I'm surprised you forgot that. That's huge for you.
It is.
I'm gonna play it, but for you, it's like a much bigger deal than it is for me.
I'm so excited for that. I have this impression.
It is near the end of September, so you will have most of September to pour into Starfield. So.
Dude, what are we gonna do? Okay, like let's just look at this. Armored Core. Baldur's Gate, then Armored Core, okay, then Starfield, okay, then Lies of P, Mortal Kombat, Payday 3, Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. I'm up to 7. We're not out of September yet, Brian. Okay, Forza Motorsport, Lords of the Fallen, Alan Wake 2, City Skyline, we're up to 11. So between the end of between August, September, and October, that's 3 months. Okay, that's 12 weeks. There are 11 games in total coming out. Some of them are going to take more than 100 hours to beat.
Yeah, I'm gonna be booked for a while. Luckily a lot of these are coming to Game Pass, so I can just,
Yeah,
like a lot of these are coming to Game Pass.
Because Game Pass is a value destructive proposition, according to Jim Ryan.
And I have a few others on there on my list that aren't on yours because they're games that I like Sea of Stars and Replaced and things like that.
And then also you do want to talk about it because listen, if they make Guild Wars 3, I'll be interested. They haven't done it yet, but they're hinting that they're going to. Okay,
it's a possibility, but right now they're moving on. Like this is a whole new Guild Wars 2. Like it's because the whole the story of Guild Wars 2 up until what just ended a few months ago with the final end for End of Dragons. End of Dragons came out last year, but you have post content stuff. Was all like one arc. Like it was different arcs, but altogether it was one arc about the dragons and that cycle and everything. But that's all over, and now they're doing different stuff. And the story is great. I'm very hyped about the story and what they're going into, like the stuff that we've been theorizing about for years. But the big thing about this expansion is there's been a lot of talk about like when you compare Guild Wars 2 now, the fact that you have all these classes and subclasses, right? Or professions and, elite specs is what they call them, right? The amount of, options you have in the game, because they kept adding new elite specs or subclasses with each expansion. Every class got one, rather than WoW where they just got some abilities. No, you get an entirely new subclass, with every expansion. And it came to a point where everybody was like, what can you even make anymore? Like it's getting to a point where there's nothing to add, or you're just going to be redundant and it's going to be this but in a new way. Well, they agreed. And they said, okay, we're not doing elite specs. And then people got mad. They're like, well, what the fuck are you doing then? And they said, okay, well, what we're doing is we're changing the entire way builds and everything work in the game. So there's two big things. One, the way stat bonuses and things work in the game, they're changing that, like gear bonuses. They're switching a part out so that you can better customize your build with it, which is going to be a big point. But two, every subclass comes with a new set of skills, right? Weapons skills are tied to weapons in Guild Wars 2. So if a Guardian picks up a greatsword, he's going to have different skills than when a Mesmer picks up a greatsword. They use them in different ways, right? And then if a Necromancer wants to use a greatsword, he has to be the Reaper subclass, right? I'm trying to explain it in terms you understand. They have to pick the Reaper subclass. And this thing, they're coming up with a way for you. You have to do the quest line and do whatever and unlock the ability to remove that restriction. So all of the subclass restrictions of you have to be this class to use this weapon and do this thing are now removed. So all of the balance has been upended. Like the amount of theory crafting and build crafting we're going to be able to make out of this is insane. The fact that I'm going to be able to use these types of weapons and these abilities and mix and match them with something I could never do before. It literally is. Think in WoW they might add a new class and it adds this much complex thought into you coming up with a team and things like that. This they're literally they didn't add a new subclass with everything, but it's like they're adding two new subclasses to everybody rather than one. The amount of change that it's going to undertake. It's hard to explain if you're not a Guild Wars person, but it's insane the amount of work.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of losing perspective a little bit here about the conversation, but I'm more interested in where this story, because there's a thing you posted about some headless demon dude and then his body, and I'm watching it and he has like these big spider arms that are slamming on the ground and pointed. So like, what's all that in like, and remember, Brian, I don't play Guild Wars at all, so we don't need a 30-minute synopsis, but if you could squeeze it down into like 30 seconds, that'd be cool.
We don't know 100% for sure. What we do know is things are coming from other realms of existence to take our realm. Things that may have been held back for a long time by other things, and now they're not being held back. So yeah, it's getting into a lot of the expanded lore of other realms that are out there, and the myths and the gods and stuff like that. A lot of stuff that's existed and been mysteries since Guild Wars 1 that a lot of people have really, really liked. It's getting into that lore and that story.
It's always a good thing. You want to talk about Destiny for a second?
I mean, do we gotta? I'm so fed up with Destiny at the moment.
So I kind of do, because okay, we're gonna close the show out with this, but this is how much do you care about spoilers?
Spoilers, I don't care. I've not caught up with the season. I'm going to here in a while. My big problem is with Destiny. We can talk about your spoilers. 30 seconds. My big problem is Destiny is they finally addressed it this week or last week or whatever, and they didn't really address it. They just said something. There hasn't been stability? A week. Yeah, there hasn't been a week since launch that we haven't had server issues since the launch of the expansion.
So yeah, I think everybody's really fed up with Destiny right now. People are and I'm in the same boat. I think Bungie needs to right the ship, and badly. Everybody's fed up with the amount of microtransactions in game. The game's pay to win. They need to take that away. There's all kinds of argumentation. So As to Cross has a great video. It's 30 minutes long. Go watch it. We're not going to address all those problems here. Those spoilers that I'm talking about are for this season, next season, the final shape, and what's coming after.
All right, hit me. Okay,
so
if you worry about spoilers, turn off now.
Yeah, you've been warned. I'm putting up the spoilers tag. Okay, I'm about to show a paste bin that supposedly has all kinds of crazy ass spoilers in it. Okay,
can you share your screen with me?
Yeah. So I can just send it to you too.
Okay, yeah, just send me that. I'll follow along.
The first, there's a bajillion in here, but I'm wanting to specifically hit the highlights of a few things, because this might be the saving grace of Destiny. So the first couple things it starts off, it's kind of wrong, but anytime these paste bins come along, there's usually some things that are wrong and some things that are right. The ones that are wrong: Season of the Vile, Resurrection of Savathun. Starting off, we work with her ghost Maru, while we work to sabotage Zyvu Arath's saboteurs and find Savathun's body. So, which is weird, we already have it, so that makes me think it gets abducted. And they're trying to keep her from being revived. Whatever. The part that'll be interesting as to whether or not this is true is the returning raid. For the first time, Bungie has tried this. Crota's End will return in August in present day. Crota has been resurrected by the Lucent Hive and reclaimed his brood. Not adhering to any of the goals Zyvu Arath or Savathun have set forward, he kidnaps Savathun's Death Singers and tries to regain his memories in order to enact revenge against those who killed him, and it'll be the raid with a bunch of returning weapons. If this bit is true about the returning raid, and we'll know in August, this gives credence to the final shape and what's coming after, which is the big parts that I want to talk about, okay? So supposedly we are going to get new Crucible maps, new Gambit maps, we're going to get a 1v1 PvP mode, new PvP weapons. This is the interesting bit. The final shape. There's going to be a patrol in the garden, which the inside of the Traveler is considered the garden, okay? that contains lots of nods to past Destiny things, including an entire secret underground section where everything in the universe is born. There are going to be new darkness units similar to Rulk and the Scorn. They're going to be aggressive, one's taller and slender with daggers, blah, blah, blah. The raid in the final shape is going to be the final fight against the Witness. It's going to be a 3-part boss battle with an escape section and a semi-secret encounter. This takes place all inside the garden, and it also takes place on the planet of the Witness, which we could talk about the planet of the Witness, all that stuff another time. I don't know if you're caught up to that, but Destiny casually drops one of the biggest, most interesting lore cinematics in the middle of a season instead of including it in, anyway. The raid will unlock new activities and sections of the patrol zone of the garden inside the Traveler. The activity is a 6-man where we cleanse parts of the Witness in light, extreme enemy density, and some majorly cool set pieces. They're not giving a lot of spoiler stuff, even though all this sounds like huge spoilers for the story. Big sacrifices. We apparently allow the Vex to understand how paracausality works in order to enter the portal into the Traveler, which has repercussions on its own. Cade is actually dead. People that think he's coming back, he's not. The garden holds the consciousness of every being that has ever existed, alive or dead. The embodiment of Cade is what we choose to guide us through the experience, which is cool. This was the bit, like, if this is true in lore-wise, this is fucking crazy. The ghosts, your ghosts, are made from the freed souls of the Witness's people. So do you know what the Witness is? Have you seen that cutscene?
Yeah.
So, okay. For shorthand for everybody else, the Witness was the first race found by the Traveler. Eventually they found out the light's kind of a lie and it's not the only paracausal force in the universe. The Traveler decided to leave the Witness's race once they figured that out. So the Witness's race decided to use the darkness and their light powers of paracausality and binded themselves into one singular entity called the Witness. So that's where the Witness comes from. So this is the thing. So the final shape's all that. Beyond. So this is beyond Lightfall. No expansion in 2025. Instead, Bungie will be making some very major back-end changes to server, game engine, toolset, and have already been implementing things since Beyond Light, especially this year in Lightfall, and it's costed content development time, but major changes will be put in place in the next year or two. Some sort of streamlining for how activities are built into the game entirely to decrease how they affect the rest of the game and allow for more frequent different content. Newly upgraded Tiger engine, which is what Marathon is on and what Destiny will be on after the final shape, will not only be used for Marathon and future Destiny projects, but Bungie plans to outsource it to other developers. It's the next version of the Tiger engine is apparently so impressive that they feel like it's worth giving out to other developers. They have new compression technology. It's one of the major things they're working on that's allowing them to stream things in at crazy speeds. Also toying with procedural generation. Apparently the person that's doing all these leaks said, I don't understand engineering shit, but there was a lot of really impressive jargon and lingo here and massive investments made by Bungie into this engineering. Post the final shape will be a spiritual reboot for Destiny, changing the tone to something more akin to a space detective story with an emphasis on world building rather than a big action blockbuster like it currently is. Most of the key developers of Destiny miss the mystery in early Destiny. I severely do too. I think everybody does. They want that mystery back and they want to be experimental with nearly everything. Post the final shape has been called the Universal Expansion. And so what a bunch of these things do is they are bringing back tons of things from the past. Stories will be told in anthologies, self-contained and loose connections to the greater overworld and the Vex plot. A grand storyline may come further down the line, 2026, 2027. Marathon and Matter haven't affected Destiny's development much. However, Destiny is funding Marathon and Matter, which Matter is a separate game that's made in Unreal Engine, so Marathon wasn't Matter. Matter's a whole nother game coming in Unreal Engine, and Marathon is still using Tiger 2. But more so, the bigger slowdowns from Destiny have been training new developers to use their Tiger engine, because it's an in-house engine. This is the bit that was funny to me. Bungie laid off several narrative team members after Lightfall, right before the writer's strike. Lightfall was considered a massive success, but the story was one of the things that core Bungie members were very upset about. They have new narrative leads, and the narrative leads are scary about continuity, whatever that means. Bungie was very upset with the multitude of different narrative decisions made over the last couple of years by some employees that have come and gone that made Destiny's universe a lot smaller in scope and want a chance to redo some things. Examples include closing off the possibility of more war mines existing, Rasputin being the only one, the Fallen being reduced to what they are currently, the Black Garden
Killing
being what it is.
was a dumb mistake.
Yes, and that's one of the things they were not happy about. Also, the Vex and their current plot hole that the Vex are in, several developers went home with copies of Destiny 2 on the Switch. There was no possible world where it would run properly and was completely abandoned. And then we're getting to the fun bit. Destiny 1 Remake was discussed, but Bungie prefers to just put all D1 content in Destiny 2. Vaulted content from Destiny 2 is for the most part all ready to be put back into the game. It's been retaken, recondensed with a bunch of tech upgrades. So that stuff's coming later on. They're apparently going to be putting in Destiny 1 and earlier Destiny 2 content from the first couple of years. And it's re-optimized and everything like that. And it will have like these standalone sections. So like there will be a menu that you can go to access like this legacy thing where you get to go and say, okay, I want to go to Mars when we were trying to find Osiris, and so I can go to the Vex Forest. You'll be able to do that apparently. But it's not going to affect the overworld, and it's not going to be part of the main thing. The problem that they have right now is they've written themselves into kind of a hole with what they can and can't have in terms of like things existing. So like all of that stuff, all of this is super duper interesting. And if this is all actually true, people may be very, very happy with Destiny after August. This looks like they are riding the ship, if this is true. If this is not true, that's sad. But I hope that half of it is true.
I'd like it to be true, but I mean, there are parts like I'd really like it to be true, but they've said stuff like this before, like we can return stuff, and then they say, look, we returned it, but they didn't really return it. Like they returned Mars already because we went there in Battlegrounds. That's not they returned Mars, you know?
Yeah.
And then it says things like they want it to be a space detective story rather than a action blockbuster, but then two more things down, it's like we're gonna go back to Twilight Gap and the Reef Wars. That's space blockbuster, not space detective. So
yeah,
you kind of contradicted yourself there. I'm like, I hope
and again,
this is all true. Maybe they still want to be space blockbuster, but also space detective. I don't know, but this all sounds great. I agree with you. This all sounds good and sounds like it would be riding the ship. It also sounds like they'd be doing it over a long period of time. So
when you go back and you read the previous pace bins that were leaks, like they leaked the Witch Queen and they leaked it like 50% correct. So they're doing this unique thing, and I think they're doing this purposely, where they have purpose misdirected information. So they tell like half of the truth at this meeting, but they also tell a lie at this meeting. And then they have another meeting with a different group of people, and they tell half of the truth at this meeting, and they tell a different lie. And then they have a third, and then they tell a different lie. And the reason is, when these paste bins come out, if they have like a bunch of meetings and then they cross-pollinate all these people, and the paste bin has a certain number of lies in it, they know there can only be a handful of people that were in those meetings that got those specific details.
Oh yeah, they already caught someone like that too. There was a whole thing
yes,
about it.
But they think there's more than one that are leaking these details. But that's exactly how they caught the other guy. That's how they did it. Bungie's very sneaky and smart. But so some of these things are probably right and some of these things are probably wrong. When you go back and you look at the other paste bins, especially the ones related to Witch Queen, it's like 70% correct. But there's like some steps that are missing, some in-between fill. Some things are over-exaggerated, some things are under-exaggerated. It's correct enough that this is probably like an okay guideline to what's actually going to happen, but it's not the exact same thing of what's going to happen, and it's probably not exactly how you think about it in your head. So, who knows? There's also the chance that somebody is just made and post this with what we hope are some good revelations and probably some semi-accurate things if you think it through, and is just trolling the whole fucking Destiny community with it.
Look, the biggest indicator that this could all be a lie and a troll is the fact that they list multiple strikes and multiple new PvP maps. Because
yes! I said that too! When they're like, we're getting 4 new strikes and 4 new PvP maps, and I'm like, it's fake! They're fucking lying to us, Brian!
Exactly. But, I mean, maybe they've been saving them up. Maybe they've been hearing the feedback. I don't know, but...
Bungie in a million years would never support PvP. Where did this come from?
Or that's the lie that Bungie released to catch someone.
That's true. Yeah, they could say, we're going to have new PvP maps. Gotcha, fuckers.
Look, I hope a lot of this is true and that they're going to right the ship. They've been talking about writing it a lot after the final shape, and I'm just like, you're not going to make it there. There's people falling off in the middle of a season that has huge lore implications and stuff, and they're just like, I'm fucking done. I can't do it. This should not be the point where people are having that reaction, but they are.
I'm there. So, for me personally, I'm already there. Here's my thing. I have played 9 years of Destiny. I'm almost to the final shape. Okay? I'll get there, and that's it. I am not investing myself in Destiny after the final shape for 2 to 3, maybe even 4 years, unless there is substantial progress from them. I don't care what they say. I don't care what's coming. Unless that game is something that is just not what it is today, I'm not fucking coming back. Because I've done it, I've seen it, I've done every day one raid, I've got like 5 different raid jackets, I've got 3 different... I'm not coming back. There's nothing Destiny can offer me that I haven't already done unless they just make it a better overall game. I've experienced tons of stuff from it. And so the final shape is the final point of investment for me. Beyond that, I'm not supporting Destiny 2. I'm not supporting or playing Marathon, primarily because I think extraction shooters, people need to stop fucking copying Tarkov and try to be original.
I'm just pissed about Marathon. I'm an old school gamer. I've played Marathon, the actual Marathon, both of them.
Yeah.
And then this is what we're getting. I'm just like...
And there's so many other good things from great studios coming out. I'd so much rather spend my time support them. I wish other giant great studios would take a stab at live service. I think Diablo 4 could be a great live service game, but I personally don't like Diablo 4 where it's at right now. People are getting tired of it. The season's coming up in the middle of July. I think that will change a bunch of things, and the game's going to evolve over time. I hope Diablo can do it. I would love for there to be another major live service game people can escape to, okay? But I want there to be another first or third person shooter. I was really hoping Outriders was going to be it. There were parts of me that loved Outriders, but there were a lot of things about Outriders that just completely missed the mark. And now they're not going to make a second one, because even after the DLC, they didn't make money on the game. So unless...
when it comes to like FPS live servers, Bungie's really like Destiny's really like it at the moment.
Yeah,
Like,
they are
you know,
it.
that's I was kind of hoping like maybe had the original vision of Overwatch 2 gone through, that would have been a more PvE focused version of it, but could have been, you know, a good
Coulda.
FPS live server, but no.
What? So here's the thing. I loved MMOs between 2004 to 2013, 14. Destiny was the first semi first person shooter MMO. It's what we all kind of called it when it first came out. The only reason why we have not done first person shooter MMOs or third person shooter MMOs is because the lack of technology. And we have the technology now. So what's the problem, everybody? Why are we not getting... Hello, ding, ding, ding. Where's my 200... Especially with, like, Unreal Engine now and all the things that it can do. Where's my fucking 200-person, first-person shooter open world, you know, that's playable by live service game, right? Like, where is all this stuff that I thought we would have by now? But development studios and publishers are terrified to take risk on experimental genres, like Bungie did with Destiny, and so they won't do it. Despite the fact that Bungie has shown incredibly well something like Destiny works and makes millions. You know how much money...
I'm gonna present a scenario for you, Guns.
Yeah.
This scenario is an alternate history, okay?
Okay.
That I wish would have happened.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say it. Okay.
Halo Infinite comes out. Right? And it is what it is. It's the open world Halo Infinite that we got. That's, you know, a very, very good, like, mechanics-wise shooter and everything like that. And then Season 1 comes out, and it's not pure dog shit, just basically nothing, but instead it's actually some good content with Forge, and it's also an expansion of the world and more stuff to do in it, to go out into the open world and a way to do that multiplayer. And then Season 2, another expansion of the, you know, why haven't we gotten that from Halo? The open world campaign aspect was the best part of that game. Forge is great. Don't get me wrong. I love Forge, and it's definitely made the game better again. But this was the best part of the game, and it has not received any development since release.
You know, I personally did not think I could hate Halo Infinite more than I already did. But now you've put that thought into my head, and all I can see is more of what Halo is not. So thank you, Brian, for further ruining Halo Infinite more than it already has been for me. And that's going to be it for the live service podcast. I'm going to go jump off a building. Brian, why don't you give us our socials?
You can follow Guns at Guns Games, GUNZGAMES on Twitter and Twitch and everything. And you're 3 Guns Down on which one? Just type in Guns Games. It will come up no matter what. And you can follow me at 7BitBrian, the number 7, BITBRIAN, on all the stuff as well. Yeah. Why do we end on depressing notes, Guns?
I'm going to go have a stroke because I missed Master Chief. Bye!